Christopher Nolan, why do we fail to pick ourselves back up? And will you ever put me in a movie where I don't have a mask on my face?
Dunkirk, starring Fionn Whitehead, Damien Bernard, Anarin, Barnard, Mark Rylance, and Tom Hardy. This is the story of 400,000 men who were trapped on the beaches of Dunkirk during World War II. The British Navy wouldn't send in reinforcements or more ships to evacuate the men because they didn't have the resources or just because the waters were too shallow. So the British Navy commissioned civilian vessels and sent them out to save these men that were under German fire. Quite honestly, Dunkirk left me frustrated, guys. It's unlike any other World War II film to come out. This film had all the right aspects to be an instant classic, but the finished product just missed the mark. First, let's cover the things that were great about this film and what it did really well. I mean, it's so realistic, and it's not about the action. It's about survival and honor. The sound design in this is amazing and unnerving. The cinematography is beautiful, and the score in this just makes everything so much more suspenseful. Now, there's very little dialogue in this movie, and it works really, really well because the acting is just solid across the board. Everyone does a fantastic job. And that does come down to direction. And I feel like Christopher Nolan directed this well. But that's not where his trouble spots are. We're going to get to that in a second. Now, from what I've seen here on YouTube, as far as reviews and reading reviews, there's this similar case of everybody feels like they weren't able to connect with the characters. And they think that's because they didn't know the names, never heard any names or a backstory. But the movie's not about that. It's about the situation that they're stuck in. They're all in a similar situation, and the story is telling it as a whole. Everyone is experiencing pretty much the same thing, whether it be in the air, land, or sea. They are all stuck in this or getting ready to put themselves into it. And it wasn't the fact that you didn't know their characters' names, because that's all you need to know. All you need to know is that they are stuck in a terrible situation and they need to get out. Why I felt like you weren't able to connect to the characters and why everybody else is feeling that way, let me give a lead into that. A good ways through the first act of the film, you start to notice that the cuts are jumping between past and present. For the most part, it's utilized very well and it adds suspense to the movie. But at a certain point, when things start ramping up and the action is a little bit more sped up and things are kind of crazy, these jump cuts are still happening. And when that's happening, we're jumping back and seeing something we've already seen from somebody else's perspective. And for me, it was taking 10 to 20 seconds to reorient myself. That is forever when you're watching a film. That's just bad editing. It was a poor editing choice. This, to me, is what ruined the film and why you can't connect to the characters completely. Not only was this distracting, but it kept you from being in the moment. In my opinion, I think that Dunkirk should have been told linearly and we shouldn't have been jumping back and forth like you do in this movie. It shouldn't have happened. I feel like Christopher Nolan tried to be artsy-fartsy, and in doing so, he just shot himself in the foot. Everything about this film is amazing. When I say the cinematography is beautiful, it is. When I say the sound design, it's unnerving, it is. The score is fantastic, like all of that. Everything about this film, all the pieces are there. I have no idea if this is exactly how Christopher Nolan wrote the screenplay and it jumped back and forth in the screenplay, or this was something that he decided to do in post. But if it was something he decided to do in post, he made a terrible move in my opinion, because it lost me. It killed the momentum of the film. And here's why. One of the most inspirational and powerful moments in the film is completely deflated because of the way it's cut. These civilian ships are pushing in and they're making their way to the beach and they just light up. There's this triumphant feeling. They have hope again, and it's so powerful. And then boom, it cuts to the same thing we've just seen from someone else's perspective. The key to good storytelling is giving the audience something that they want in a way that they weren't expecting it. It was on the verge, and then it just kept on jump cutting. I'm sorry if you love this movie. I just can't. I can't. The execution of Dunkirk was not a good one. There were so many great things that this film accomplished, but it didn't have a strong finish. I had no idea what I was supposed to feel at the end of this film. What I was feeling is not what I was supposed to be feeling. I know that for a fact, and that is frustration. It had the potential to be one of the best films in quite some time. And to some of you, it may be, but it wasn't for me. I wanted to love this film, guys. I really did. And I will say that I did have high expectations because I do like Christopher Nolan. I feel like he missed the mark with this one, unfortunately, and I am disappointed. Not to say that there won't be some kind of saving grace later down the road, because I do believe in him as a filmmaker, and I think he is a good one, but there was just something about this that, as a whole, just didn't work. Unfortunately, I'm giving Dunkirk a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I thought of Dunkirk. What did you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think I'm wrong about how it was cut, or did it work for you? I'm seeing that a lot of people loved it, and like, I know Chris Stuckman is a big fan of it. Jeremy Johns not. He didn't even give it a rating. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get a conversation going about this. Maybe somebody can change my mind. I want to see this movie again, and I will see it again. If you have a good home entertainment center at home, just wait till it comes out. I mean, if you're local to the Asheville, North Carolina area, be sure to head on over to the 828.com. Why? Because that's where the locals go. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you don't want to miss a single one, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see my last review, which was for The Big Sick, you can click right there. And you guys have a fantastic day.